everybody, it's Clarissa. We are back in the limelight. And as usual, I bring on an extraordinary guest, an entrepreneur that is really, let's just say, killing it. Because there's really no other way to describe my guest today. As a friend, I've known him for a very long time. I'm excited to have him on the show today. But before we get to that, I do want to remind you to like, subscribe, click the bell, follow me on social, because, you know, you can pretty much find me anywhere under Clarissa Burt. I think I'm everywhere except Snapchat. So that's great. The video will be shown on YouTube. We will be seeing, you'll be hearing the podcast on Apple and Google Play. So you can find it on iTunes as well. You're going to be able to also read about this interview if you're more of a reader than an actual watching video kind of person. This is the latest iteration of the In the Limelight magazine. We do have the Lamborghinis on there. This is intelligent media for the savvy entrepreneur. I'm very proud of the publication. We are coming out very soon with a new iteration. It will be dropping on March 1st. And I do hope that my next guest will do the honors of, maybe we can get an ad from his fabulous concern. His company is amazing, and get his ad in the magazine as well. We also have the love of Italy in common, so I'm just going to bring him on. He is a superstar entrepreneur, very well known nationally and internationally, but he happens to live right here in town. So I get first access. There he is. To Mark Candelaria. Hey, Mark.
How are you? Good morning.
I'm doing great.
Here I am.
Doing great. Mark is a stellar, premier, superstar architect, has been for years, mostly residential, but not only. This guy lives an entire lifestyle, because I follow you on social, Mark, and I do not know how you eke another minute out of the day.
I do keep busy. I do get a little power nap. And I've got my favorite garages around town where I just duck in, get that 5-minute power nap, and zoom off to the next thing.
I can't do that.
I'm lucky I can do that.
I cannot do that. You know, I get anxious. I like the anxiety. I like, I can't do that. I got too much to do. But you are, not only are you running a company that we'll get into in a little bit. I was going to say multi-million, but I'm sure you have, you don't mind my saying that. You follow your girls and their volleyball teams. You are cooking up a storm all the time. You're hiking mountains. You're up early. You're keeping yourself fit. I mean, you find time to do everything. When we talk about balance, I think that should be your byline. It was Mark Candelaria, you know, Mr. I found the balance in everything.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I find the balance. I am a Libra, so I am always.
Oh, okay. So I wasn't far off.
No, you're not far off. And you know, what I found is when I'm the busiest, I'm the most efficient. I don't find there's no time to waste time when you're so busy.
Right.
You just don't have time to sit there and waste time. So I just make sure I fill that day all the way full. And I end up getting a lot done. Well,
as an entrepreneur, do you think you're a control freak? I mean, are you okay with handing off things to do and tasks? And I mean, and you are okay with that? Yeah.
In fact, I hand off quite a bit. I've learned the other thing is just you can't do this all by yourself. You definitely need a crew and a tribe to work behind you. Mm-hmm. And I am so fortunate to have an amazing wife, an amazing team here, an amazing family.
Yes.
And we all try to work together.
But you give back so much to the community. There was so much going on in your just everyday life. And then you find so much time to give back to the community as well. You know, I see you at a lot of black tie events. I see you, you know, just kind of doing the thing in the community and giving back. So I know that that's really important to you.
Oh yeah, it's a big part of what we do. In fact, I think I've got 3 or 4 people in my firm that are board members on various charities that have just evolved from me stepping up and saying, hey, yeah, we'll take care of this. And next thing I know, my guys are on the board. So actually this afternoon, I'm off to Habitat for Humanity to work with them on a new building they just purchased. We're going to move their whole headquarters there. Yeah. And at the same time, one of my staff members is going to meet with a company from Germany that is bringing over a giant 3D printer that we're going to print the first house that we're going to build for Habitat for Humanity out of a 3D printer.
It's crazy. That is really, really cutting edge stuff. That is really. I want to follow that one. I want to show up when that project is all done. Yeah. You decided somewhere along the line. You decided, I think, that yes, stellar, and as I said, premier, top notch, very well known architect and architecture. And I've got some pictures that I'm going to show as you're speaking, if you don't mind. But you decided that you were going to also brand Mark Candelaria Inspired Living. Can you tell us what that's all about?
Yeah, I can't remember where that came from. I think I listened to a podcast or a book about, describe your business in 2 words. And I think we did it collectively as a group in our company, and we came up with Inspired Living. And that's what our company is about. I mean, yeah, we're an architecture firm.
Right.
When you really look at what we're doing, it's not drawing a set of plans. I mean, that's just a part of what we're doing to achieve the goal we're ultimately trying to achieve, which is inspiring people how to live a beautiful life.
Right.
And so these homes are all about that. It's about great places to cook, great places to entertain, wonderful places to raise your family, and they're inspired from our trips and our tours. That kind of was a byproduct of this whole thing. It just all kind of ties together.
Exactly. So, and by the way, when you were talking about the design, I know that you have a really kind of special gift, if you will, for my followers, which is really, really cool. And I wanted to thank you so much for that. Do you want to talk about that, the 2-hour design consultation?
Yeah. In fact, I love doing these because I never know which path it's going to take. And it just usually becomes an unconventional path that leads to something really marvelous.
Right.
So what we're going to do is we're going to donate or promote a 2-hour consultation free of charge. And I'll come personally and we'll, sit there and figure out what your problem is and what we need to do to inspire living in your home.
Wow, that's extraordinary. And I'm not going to lie when I say I am behind you and you wouldn't be able to see it, but I have a vision board and there's a picture of my Mark Candelaria design up there that will be built one of these days very soon, hopefully. And then it's followed by a design. There's something called a charrette. And I have to be honest, you wrote it out for me. I didn't know what it was. I was like, charrette, I think that has something to do with charcoal. Let me go back and take a look. And of course, it's a French word for, sort of mapping out, if you will, almost a pencil design. Am I correct?
Yeah, I love to draw fast, and I should have grabbed one of my sketch pads here. I mean, I draw it right down to my clients so they see it, and it's something I learned from my mentor, George Christensen. The ability to sketch is such a great skill and a great gift because you can do it anywhere. I don't need a computer or a CAD system. It's 115 million degrees, and I can draw something really quick, and the framer's like, got it, let's do it.
Were you always like that? Did you always have a pencil in hand as a child?
Pretty much. I mean, I've had this callus on my finger since I was about 3, and it's not going away anytime soon.
It was just kind of written in the stars, was it?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. I know that you're doing a lot of other things as well because I've been on your show, you've been on my show. So you have a podcast. You're doing your cooking all the time, which is we can all follow. By the way, if you want to follow along with what we're talking about, go ahead and follow Mark on all his social because I follow him on Instagram, and there's always something going on.
There's always something going on, for sure.
There's always something going on there. I mean, there's a barbecue, or there's a paella, or
the other day, and I love this term. I can't remember who did it, but they called me the Arca Chef, and I really like that.
That's cute.
Yeah, I think that's good. So I'm going to adopt that one. I got to see if I can copyright that one.
Okay, I know that you play the piano because every once in a while we watch you sit down and do that. So super talented. Painting. I didn't know about the painting part.
Yeah,
I guess it makes sense.
Painting. I just need time. Obviously, is my biggest problem. But I'm doing a wonderful painting of my wife, Isabel.
Oh.
A picture that we took of her during her chemo.
Right.
And she was wearing this cool bandana scarf thing and just great colors. And I don't know, it's a very symbolic picture for us. And so
let me talk about that, if you don't mind my talking about that for a second. I mean, with all that you've got going on and all, I mean, you really, as I said, eke out another minute of the day and then something devastating like that happens.
Right.
And I was following with bated breath, obviously from afar, because, we didn't really know each other that well yet.
Right.
And how did you because you just, it looked, and I said to Isabel when I met her, she did it with such ease, such grace, such beauty. How did you guys do that in the midst of her, booming business, and your, firm just exploding?
Well, a lot of it, when it all happened, it's always one of those things that's very surreal when it happens. I mean, you don't, you've seen that commercial where they give you those words and you kind of sit there and goes, really, this is really, really happening?
Right.
But right after that point, I think we both kind of sat down that weekend and we said, you know what, we're just going to keep living, because obviously that's our tagline, inspiring living. And said, you know what, we're going to tell everybody that we know what's going on. We're not going to hide any of this.
Right.
Because we're firm believers in the power of prayer. And the more people you can get out there praying for you, the better off you are.
Right. Better energy, sure.
And so we decided we're just going to keep living. And in the course of the 1.5, 2 years that she went under chemo and radiation treatment, I think we counted up 22 trips that we did, including going to Spain, going to Italy. And we just kept living. Said, we're just going to keep living,
Right.
I think that was a really smart thing to do, just mentally.
Yeah.
And, then it just, our teams really helped carry us through. I mean, when you think of these things that happen, it definitely affects the person that's undergoing it, but it affects a lot of people around.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it's a community. It's a tribe that it affects. It's always, it's never just you. And that's a good thing, because obviously, as you said, the support and the love that comes in, certainly, as the wind beneath your wings, that can get
an enormous amount of energy that comes by sharing the story, keeping it all hidden and private.
So the idea was to sit down, make a plan, and forge through it. And you guys did, and she came through beautifully. We're so happy to say thank God, and all is well. Okay, so as if you didn't have enough going on, you decided, you know what I think I'm going to do today? I think I'm going to start a podcast.
Yeah.
And you're doing the Inspired Living podcast from your home, which I came to some months ago. And
you did a great job, of course. You're easy because you have so much energy. It's so easy to interview with you. I just did an interview with my father, my father is a man of very few words.
Right. Well, he just turned 95.
He just turned 85.
85. Forgive me. Okay.
Yeah. 45 minutes of my dad talking. It's pretty difficult, but we had a great time. It was his birthday.
We did a spa weekend.
Yeah, we went to the spa, went to the Joya Spa in Lucia, which he loved. We came home, made a couple old fashions, did the podcast, watched the Super Bowl, made pizzas, and he had a great day.
What a perfect day. Yeah. And that's, I think it's an entrepreneurial point when we say, okay, at a certain point, you got to just, break away. And I'm one of the, I'm an 18-hour-a-day kind of gal. And on Sunday, I said, okay, I really need a break, because you do need to step away. So I gave myself permission to do that. And, there's nothing that you wait probably until the next day. Most things can, and most things will. So the podcast, are you enjoying that? And where can
we and doing it with my dad? I've kind of realized this, but it really came crystal clear when I interviewed my dad, who again is a man of few words. Over the course of the 85 years I've been with him, I don't think we've ever had a continuous 45-minute conversation that went that deep.
Right.
Oh,
wow.
You're always, have a beer, have this, watch the game. What do you think of this?
Right.
Small talk like that.
Right.
But doing this podcast with him, I went all the way back to when he was a little boy. It was like 45 minutes of therapy, for both of us, to be honest with you.
How nice.
And so, I'm not an emotional person, generally speaking, but I was teared up at the end talking to my dad for 45 minutes like that.
Isn't that's really, these are the kind of things, these are the reasons that I love to do the show that I do, because I usually, we're having a chat like this, that's a key, that is a teaching moment. That's a life moment. That's a key moment in your life. And my next question to you was going,
I've got it captured. I've got it forever on that.
My next question to you was going to be, and you may have a different answer, but I guarantee what you just told me is one of these.
Yeah.
What do you think in all of your career was your crowning moment?
Oh, geez. Crowning moment.
Because you've won so many awards, you've traveled all over the world, you've worked all over the world, and then I'm sure a lot of people. You think about that for a second while I say, I'm sure there are a lot of times you get asked the question, "Which was your favorite house?"
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Don't you get that all the time? And aren't they all your babies? Aren't they all?
Yeah, they are. I don't have a favorite person. I probably have a handful. In fact, I do have. I am working on a book that I've selected 24 houses that are going into this book. And they're basically selected based upon the impact that they had, either because of the people that were involved or what the house did for my career or whatever.
Right.
So I guess I do have 24 favorites that.
Right.
Really
but let's get back to that crowning moment, that one thing.
I've given myself a little time to think about that. And I really think the crowning moment in my career was when I left George Christensen's firm. At that time, it was CCBG. I was a partner of it. And George was retiring. I'd been working with him for 18 years. I had two other partners who still run CCBG, and it's still called CCBG. And they're doing a great, fabulous job. But I was 39 years old, and I just went to this seminar about, kind of discovering who you are and all these things. And I realized that, the firm is going off in this direction, and I'm kind of happy over here in this part of the world.
Right.
And I decided at that point, you know what? I'm just going to go on my own and see what happens. And worst case, it doesn't work, I'll get a job with somebody else.
Yeah.
And I had this great little townhouse and a little studio loft. And I said, I'll get 1 or 2 houses a year. I'll hang out with my dogs. I'll go hiking every afternoon. That lasted for about 6 months.
Right.
And so that moment of breaking free and just throwing everything to the wind and that was probably the crowning moment, the most impactful moment of my career.
I think in all of that, there was another entrepreneurial teaching moment. We speak to entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and one of the things you just said, Mark, was really, I think, key, and that is, stopping to self-improvement, to stop and go to the courses, go to the classes, read those books, you're improving as a human being while, you're doing the entrepreneurial thing is paramount. All right. I didn't get the answer to the question, the crowning moment, which was like a moment where you went, okay, I made it. I did it. I'm done.
I did it. Well, I think the other one that comes to mind was 5 years after I started my firm in 2005, I was named Master of the Southwest by Phoenix Home and Garden magazine.
Wow.
And I was 44 years old at the time, which happens to be my lucky number. And so I think it put me on the map out there in the public.
Right.
But it was kind of like the Scarecrow and the Wizard of Oz. It kind of, I had that certificate now in my mind.
Right.
And, I think that's when I realized, okay, I can do this, and I can do it at a nice level and a fine level, and I just kind of went from there. So that was probably the other moment that was kind of a crowning moment for me.
You do a lot of speaking. I know that you're around, you get called a lot, and do keynotes and to talk to groups and whatever. And I know you've got another event coming up in a few days. It's on the 10th. So in another 6 days or so of February, the Society of 25. And I looked it up only to be surprised to find out the Society of 25 are 25 of the world's top photographers. And I went, well, now isn't that interesting? That photographies and photographers would call in an architect, and of course it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to do this, and I've been thinking about the speech and the workshop that I'm going to be doing, and I guess they really wanted me to talk about reaching out to the luxury market and how do I do that? What do I do? Right. But the other thing I want to talk to them about is, the old operator, entrepreneur side, operator, owner mentality.
Sure.
So photographers, architects, artists, we all are impeccable operators. We can do our craft.
Right.
But how do you turn that into a business?
Yes.
And make it a successful business? And the other part of that is, how do you transition that business later? Yeah. Because time goes by awfully quick.
Absolutely.
And I see it happening a lot in my profession. I see a lot in the building profession, where these guys, they turn 50, 60, 70 years old, and they have no one to hand it off to.
Right.
And how do you hand it off?
Right.
You're the guy making the pictures. You're the guy making the houses.
Right.
How do you hand that off?
Yeah.
And so I'm in the process of doing that right now with my 3 partners.
Right.
So again, I'm very lucky to have 3 amazingly talented people. And we're doing that process, and it's a great thing to do, because it gives me a chance to retire.
Right.
It gives me a chance to capture the value that I've created over all those years.
Absolutely.
And then walk away and close the doors and everyone goes on their happy, merry way.
Right.
It can be a legacy thing where then, 20, 30 years from now, these three partners can do the same thing and it carries.
Yeah, people go into businesses and start businesses and never really think about what the exit strategy is going to be. And so,
architects, photographers, and none of them think of that.
Yeah, and because the right brains normally are not left-brained. It's really hard to find someone that's whole-brained. You know what I mean? So us creatives are right-brained, but when it comes even for me to accountants, lawyers, contracts, Indian chiefs, I can't even.
Right. So that was one of the best things that my mentor George Christensen, to keep bringing him up. He taught me how to sketch upside down, but he also told me instead of going back to architecture school to get my architecture degree, because I never did get that.
Right.
Is he said, go back and get a business degree because of everything you just said.
Absolutely.
Learn,
and there's so many moving
learn
parts.
About business law, learn about finance, learn how to make a balance sheet.
Right. You guys know how to do many moving parts. Yeah. So many moving parts. So, here's the other thing. I love to say, this is a quote that I absolutely love. If you don't want to work a 9 to 5, be prepared to work 24/7. Yeah. And in some cases, it's 25/8.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and I think you and I, we have that in common ground. Okay, 2 more questions quickly, and they are, over the years, was there anything that you would have done differently, anything you would have changed, anything you regret?
I don't know. I think, I've been so blessed with the life that I've had, to be honest with you. It's far exceeded my expectations of anything.
Right.
So I don't think I really have any regrets other than, I guess it's more, I wish I had more time. I'm constantly searching for time. It's not, money's, has been an issue in different points in my life.
Right.
But I've always been able to overcome that. But I guess the older you get too, is just, you see that time shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. There's just so much I want to do. And so I don't think I have any regrets per se. It's been an amazing life. I've been married 3 times and I have 3 crazy daughters. They are
the third was the charm. The third was the charm.
Yep, third's the charm. So, as a kid that grew up in Durango, Colorado, and worked on the trains to draw the houses for billionaires that I used to read about, and now I'm drawing houses for them. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. Here's the last question I have to ask. What's next? You said you're writing a book.
Yep.
So that's great. Exit strategies in the works. Okay.
In the works. Yeah. I'm wrestling with what do I do with. Okay. What do I do when I do have the time? I'm trying to create this bountiful of time that I can. So I definitely want to paint more. I love painting, and I think it's something that I can just. It's interesting because when I was young, I wanted to be a painter. I wanted to paint. I wanted my work in a gallery, and I struggled so hard with everything that I came up with. It had to be so perfect, and because I got to make a home run right out of the gate, and I got to do something great, and blah, blah, blah. So there was always this pressure to do more than what really I was capable of doing at that time. And now that I'm older, I could care less about hitting a home run. I just want to go out there and be on the field and have fun. Okay, and I know. Just from experience, that's how I'm going to hit the home run. It's going to come just by chance. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to just doing the things that I've always kind of put off in life.
Sure.
And I keep traveling, paint. I love to write. I love
your next Italy trip. Let's talk about your next Italy trip. When's that coming up?
In fact, tonight I've got one of my travelers from the 2015 trip happened to be in town. And so I reached out to him and said, "You're in town. Why don't we get everyone together that was on the 2015 trip?"
How fun!
And so I reached out to everybody. Everyone goes, "Oh my God, we're in." So
how fun!
I'm cooking chicken cacciatore tonight and some fresh pizzas. And so we're gonna have all the ones that are here locally, other than the ones that came into town.
Too fun.
We're going to do a go-to meeting with the ones that are out of town, so they can participate in our dinner tonight.
Right.
And we're going to have everyone over. We're going to watch the old videos from our trip.
Fun. Oh, how fun is that?
And then we've got our fall trip this year is our 2020 trip. And it'll be Florence, Umbria, Tuscany, and we're going to finish at Lago di Como at Villa d'Este.
Where you got married.
Where we got married the day after John Legend got married, the same spot.
Right. I remember.
And, we're going to celebrate my 60th birthday there this year. So we're offering kind of 2 packages. You can do the whole 2-week package, or you can just fly in for the last 6 days, and we'll just fill up Rodeste with whoever comes for that.
How cool is that? Yeah. We all love Italy. You know, we love blah, 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 blah.
We got our Napa tour in April. We sold out our Napa tour. So we got, I think, 14, 15 travelers coming on our Napa tour. It's only a 5-day tour. So,
I wanted to go on that. Darn it.
So fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to do Napa 1 year, and then we're going to do Santa Fe the alternate years. We're going to alternate those.
Right.
Then we have a Spain tour in June. That's a 3-week tour. We're going to start alternating that with Paris, London. So 1 year it'll be Spain, 1 year it'll be Paris, London.
Right.
And every year we do Italy.
Too fun. Too fun. Mark Candelaria, I can't thank you. I know you're a busy man and you've taken the time to come on and enlighten us.
Well, I love you. You know that. I love you. And I love people with high energy. You're awesome.
Thank you.
So that's one of my regrets. I would have to say, though, real quick. One of my regrets in life, and again, it has to do with time. I know so many wonderful people. I've been so blessed with so many wonderful friends. My biggest regret is I can never spend enough time with them. There's never enough time every week to see all my friends and do. Right. I'm looking forward to that big party up there someday.
The sky, yeah. When we all
party, yeah, it's coming. It's going to be damn good.
Well, listen, everybody, I know that you love this interview as much as I did. So be sure to, again, to like it and share it out, because we want everybody in the limelight to know about Mark Candelaria, the business that he runs, the person that he is, and the love and passion that he puts into everything that he does. Mark, thanks again for your time.
Thank you, my dear.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.